Let's get our tips in for round 3. We're going to go around the table. We'll go Darren, Lush, and then Sowie. First game, Storm versus Panthers. Panthers coming off a loss. Daz, who you tipping?
Yeah, that concerns me a little bit as a Storm fan. I think on the balance of pre-season and even belief in growth of the list, the Storm would have been favourites and are favourites in this game, and I think they win. But the Panthers on the rebound concerns me a little bit. But Storm.
Yep. Lush?
I'm going to go to the Storm as well, which is bizarre to think that in round 3, the Panthers are going to be 1 and 2. But I think the Panthers are going to end up missing Dylan Edwards way too much this week. So, Storm for me.
You, Sowie? Yep. Warriors, Roosters, Darren?
Warriors. Roosters good last week, but Warriors will get them.
Yep. Lush?
Yep. Warriors.
Warriors with a question mark. We didn't give the Roosters a hope last week against the 4-time premiers. Trent Robinson may have bottled something there, so I'm not sure. I think they may have an all right record over there too, the Roosters, up against the Warriors. So I'm going to say Warriors, but there's a watch on when the squads are named and, if they get anyone back or if they move anything around. But Warriors potentially maybe changing later in the week.
Yep. Broncos, Cowboys, Darren?
I think Broncos far too good.
Yep. Lush?
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit surprised to see the Broncos drop a game this weekend. So I would definitely be going the Broncos to bounce back in stylish fashion.
Sowie?
Broncos too good to play like they did 2 weeks in a row, and Reece Walsh is too good looking to play like he did 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to say Reece Walsh to play pretty good this weekend. Broncos to win.
Yeah. Darren, Sharks, Rabbitohs?
Good game. Yeah, Sharks still a contender despite that Vegas loss hit back hard last week. They win again.
Lush?
I'm 50-50 on this one, but I'm going to follow my heart and I'm going to go to the Sharks.
Honestly, they try so hard to be the underdogs of Sharks. They're a really good side. Sharks for me. Rabbitohs won't beat themselves though. This will be nitty gritty for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Darren, Dolphins, Tigers.
I've tipped the Tigers every week. I'm 1-1. I think they win again. I like their improvement.
Lush?
I really want to go the Dolphins. I really I don't know, man. The high that the Tigers are going to be on after that win last week, I think Luai is definitely the X factor for that team. I think it's going to be the Tigers again.
Sowie?
Yeah, very similar to the Warriors-Roosters game, this one for me. It says Tigers off form and what we've seen, but Dolphins at home, settled now after a couple of rough weeks with the Cyclones and stuff like that. I'm going to say Dolphins. I just can't see them. There has to be some sort of improvement soon.
Yep. Darren, Titans and Knights.
Hard game to tip. Knights better winning round 2 than they're winning round 1. I think the Titans will improve after that really, blowing the cobwebs out last week. Flip of the coin, Gold Coast just.
Yeah. Lush?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really tight one. I'm going to go the Knights. I think the Knights are on a bit of a roll at the moment. So, yeah.
Yep. Ciao.
Yeah, it's a really good weekend of footy.
It is.
I'm gonna say Knights but huge watch on the Titans bounce back after getting back home and being right. I think both those games on Sunday, probably all 3 could be decided by less than a try. Just Newcastle. I tipped them to come last, and I haven't been right in 10 years, so that's a good omen for them. But Titans should be a lot better at home.
Yeah, right. Daz, Eels and Bulldogs.
Bulldogs vulnerable, but not vulnerable enough to lose this. I think they'll go 3-zip.
Yep. Lush?
See, I'm of the same mind, but I'm also a little bit chaotic, so screw it. Let's go the Eels.
Sorry.
Bulldogs for me. Unfortunately, the Eels have got a lot of guys that are trying at the moment, but they just haven't got the system. I don't know if they've got the points in them, to be honest, to be able to come up and, especially if the Bulldogs get in the mood they were in last night.
Darren, last one, Manly Raiders. Haven't talked about the Raiders much, but they look good.
They do look good, and Manly are certainly going to want to improve. I mean, their round one performance wins the game. Their round two performance doesn't, but I think round one's closer to reality, so I think they'll bounce back.
Lush?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Raiders on this one. I think Sticky's got those the Canberra Raiders in really good form at the moment. They're fit. They're moving quick. I think the Eagles are going to struggle after, depending on whether or not, depending on whether or not their DCE is back this week or not. I think.
Yep.
I
think he should be back. Sowie?
Yeah, watch on the injuries. I've got, it just screams Ricky Stewart, bus trip up. Boys, I'll leave the beers on the bus. We're going to get absolutely, you know what, on the way home after we beat these blokes. And I've tipped against the Raiders the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to say Manly if DCE is in. If he's not, huge watch the Raiders to be 3-0.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.